Fellas, I really appreciate the time. Just want to acknowledge Mike, Tabitha. Thank you so much for just giving me this opportunity. Fellas, I really want to, take advantage of this time and make sure that at the end of it, I leave you with a few things. That's going to be moment, taking advantage of it. The momentum that I believe that is seriously in this room. And then it's going to be the legacy that eventually we all will have to leave. And then it's going to be forever. And I want to make sure of that. So just to get started a little bit with my story, who I am, for me to be standing here right now is truly, truly amazing. I, like Ryan said, was cut on Hard Knocks. And when I stood there in front of Mike Smith, and it was a day that, you know how it is, the guy that's in the room that everybody wants to stay away from, that's walking up to you and you're like, nah, he's not coming for me. He's coming for me. And he says, man, Coach Smith wants to see you in the office. I stood there and Coach Smith laid on the news pretty easy, but he said, man, Nosa, you worked your butt off. Unfortunately, this isn't going to be the team for you, but we wish you the best. You got anything to say? I said, you know what? There's going to be a plan. There's a plan for me, and I'm excited to see and make that plan come to fruition. I appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. I left the room, and on that day, I didn't know at 22 what that plan was, but fellas, now I do. Spent the past 3 years talking in front of audiences of kids, of high school kids, of college athletes, of corporate professionals. And a lot of times it's seats that I used to sit in, and they want to hear from me, right? And I leave a word with them, and I hope I inspire them. But I'll tell you what, that if you aim for something, and I'll speak about it a little bit later, but if you aim for something, you're going to start to see the magic of it. And now I stand here speaking to a bunch of men that are sitting in seats that I wanted to sit in. Something special about that. And as I transition, into my story, I'm going to take you guys back to 2014. 2014, we're playing in Pasadena. We're playing at the Rose Bowl, and my coach gets us up at halftime. We're up by 7. We're the number 2 team playing number 1. We're upsetting them, and there was something that was on my heart. What was on my heart 3 years before then was said to me. I was the only person in that room that started in the championship game. We played 2 and 4 years, 3 years before that. And 3 years before that, Cam Newton threw a Hail Mary into the end zone. The receiver caught it. We scored. We go into the locker room. Boys are celebrating, but boys are celebrating way too early. Still had 30 more minutes to go. And our coach said this. He said, fellas, we got 30 more minutes. At that moment, we rewired. At that moment, we said, all right, now we got more work to do. We won that game. We won the national championship. It's history. Fast forward back to 2014. We're in that locker room. Our coach gathers us up. I look around. Boys are celebrating way too early. And I was the only one in that room that could have said what was on my heart. What was on my heart was 30 more minutes, fellas. 30 more minutes to be remembered forever. And I didn't say it. I didn't embrace the moment. Not only did I not embrace the moment, but I also didn't embrace the only thing and the only person that could have said those words in that room. What I want to leave with y'all boys, man, is fellas, there's an amazing moment. And the time is now. We all know in this room, whether we're still playing or whether we're not playing anymore, that we're not going to be able to play forever. The moment's now. I'm going to give you practical things that you can do to ensure that you take advantage of it. Tell your story. Have mission. Have vision. As we keep going, man, I was thinking, man, when Mike gave me this opportunity, I was like, man, what do I want to share? I thought back to a story, man, with one of my guys named Lucky. He's an attorney in Chicago, does really well for himself, works for a big firm. And I was like, man, you know what? I met a couple of his friends. I was like, man, every time I meet a lawyer, there's this confidence that they walk into rooms with. It's this bravado. It's like, man, why is that? He said, no, so you know what? Man, we thrive in this competitive-ass environment. You got to pass the LSAT. You then got to go to law school. You can't be in the bottom 10%. And then you got to make it into a big firm. The interview process is strenuous, and we thrive in it. So every room that I walk into, I take that with me. Fellas, look at between these walls. The power that is in this room. How many boys wanted to be where you are? How many boys did you play with that have more talent than you that's not where you're sitting? Fellas, may we not act like the inevitable is not going to happen. But let us make sure that we take the momentum of this win. Man, we talked about it. There's a win when you make it to the place that you guys have made it to. The momentum that you have, make sure you never just leave it between the white lines. It should always go with you with every single thing you do. Take it with you every room you walk in. I walk into rooms because I know that the work that I did, very few people have done. Very few people have done. So I'm not walking into a room saying, man, I don't know this. I'm walking into this room saying, I've thrived in competitive environments my whole life. Of course I'm going to kill this. So as I move forward into my story, I'm in a leadership grow group in Chicago. Coach Dave Wanstead is in the same group. And Coach Wanstead had a story for us one day. He gets hired by Wayne Huizenga. And Coach talks about his first meeting with Wayne. Wayne said, Coach, just gave you this job. What's the mission? He started getting into 4-3 defenses. He started talking about what the offense was going to run. Wayne said, no. 2 to 3 sentences. 2 to 3 sentences, place it all around this building, in every room, in every bathroom stall. Live it and say it every single day. There's Fortune 500 companies, millions of investors, billions of dollars that are aligned to one mission statement. Fellas, what's your mission? What's your mission? Because I can tell you this, that if you don't aim for it, you're not going to hit it. Simply, man, Inc.com article said that a mission is how a company tells the world the work that it's going to do. What are you going to give to the world? There's too much gifts in here for it to just be football. As I began to think on that note, I had an awesome opportunity to get into this leadership program in Chicago for entrepreneurs and for career professionals. And we had to write our own obituary. What? Obituary? All right. Man, it was life-changing. Because now I have mission for the now. Who am I? What am I doing not only for me, but what am I going to do for my family? And what am I going to leave behind? I'm going to get into 2 challenges and 2 urges for you guys a little bit later, but of course, one of them is going to be write your obituary. Because I guarantee you that if you aim for it, you put it out there, man, think big. Don't think small. You're in this room for a reason once again. You will get it. And the impact that you seek will come to fruition. You know, as I get to my close, you know, I think back at my story, man, and I think back at really some of the things for me that changed my life. I told Ryan a little bit, man, after I got cut in Atlanta, I got an opportunity by my agency to start acting. I was up for this role in the Concussion movie a couple years ago, so I spent like 4 or 5 months watching every episode of Entourage. And I thought I was that guy. The opportunity came and went. And I stood there not knowing what the hell I was going to do. I was still training. I was still working my butt off, but the calls didn't come. And as I began to simply do this, start telling my story to whoever would want to listen to it, I found that people did listen. Not only did they listen, they wanted to see how they can champion wherever it was that I wanted to go. Fellas in this room, I know how this thing can be. But if I can tell you anything, if you can start to tell your story, if you can start to live a little bit more vulnerable, like I said earlier, man, like, this is a room full of winners. But I know what you guys are striving for. You've lost before. You may have lost a rep. You may have lost a game. Can you own your loss? Can you learn from it? Can you take what you need and throw the rest out? And can you tell your story from a place of vulnerability and transparency? Because that's what I did. That's what I did. And the opportunities came. I ended up meeting my mentor, the company that still I work for today. Climbed up the corporate realm, launched my own company, do philanthropic works. It all started because I told my story. I finished up, and I ended up getting an opportunity with Baxter Healthcare. It's a healthcare company. Didn't know what the heck the products were, but I took the opportunity, and I thrived at it because that's all I've known. All I've known was to meet challenge and perform. The same thing that's in you guys. Same exact thing. So fellas, as I leave this with you, I'm going to be here for the rest of the day. I would love to talk it out with you. But I cannot leave this room without making sure that you boys understand the importance of vision. What's your mission? It's one of my challenges. What's your mission? I challenge you guys also, take 10 minutes out. Write your obituary. What are they going to say about you? What are they going to say about you? I urge you, whatever the big things that you aim for, who's doing it? Because I guarantee that there's somebody that's doing whatever it is that you seek that wants to help you do it too. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be in West Palm Beach, Florida, with Keith Krill, the CEO of Canada Pacific Railroad. The only reason that I have a relationship with him is because I told my story. He took a liking to it. And I can tell you guys that it's that simple. Right now, you guys are in a special place. People want to know you. People care. Tell your story, fellas. I urge you to tell your story. And fellas, I urge you to do one more thing. Find a cause. Find something that you want to champion that's bigger than you. Moved to Chicago, told Ryan a little bit. He's like, man, you from the South, man? What you doing in Chicago, man? I said, man, I'm called to live in that city. Y'all see the news. Kids dying every single day. So what's the cause that I champion? I champion the fact that I think that there is an epidemic, a disease in the city of Chicago and cities everywhere. The disease is low expectation. There's a bunch of kids that are making terrible decisions because they aim too low. I'm here to eradicate it. What are you going to champion? What cause are you going to champion? It doesn't have to be the same as mine, but make sure it's something. And like I said earlier, there's somebody doing it. There's somebody doing the impact that you seek. Find them and serve them. And I promise you this, that as you find something that's bigger than you and you champion, it always comes back to you tenfold. Every dream, everything that you're going to put in your obituary, I swear to you, man, every single thing will come to fruition. I ain't talking about ball. I'm talking about lives of impact. Because at the end of the day, fellas, if we don't do it, who will? Thanks.